I want to thank one of our incredible sponsors, BrainTap. You may have listened to our podcast with the founder of BrainTap, Patrick Porter. And if you did, you'll definitely want to get involved in BrainTap. And if you didn't, please, I strongly recommend that you go back and listen. It's so incredibly informative. Here's what BrainTap can do. You can literally build your brain fitness with BrainTap's mobile app and wearable headset. Everyone here at Outcomes the Sun podcast has had and continues to have positive results with BrainTap. Your brain is guided from awake and reactionary patterns to intuitive and creative responses. BrainTap is backed by neuroscience and research and was developed by Patrick Porter himself. BrainTap creates a symphony of brainwave activity to optimize your brain's potential, restore your ability, balance your energy, and calm your brain. And listen, it is a game changer when it comes to sleep. This technology is truly a gift, and I am so incredibly grateful to be able to share it with you. Hello, everyone. I am Mariel Hemingway, and this is my partner, Melissa Yamaguchi. We are here with the Outcomes of Sun podcast. It's the holidays, and we've got a really special show today because, first of all, I want to explain that Melissa is a genius when it comes to Feng Shui and Chinese astrology. And today she's going to talk about energy because she really knows about energy and how energy works in your life. And her thing is, own your energy, own your life, or know your energy, know your life, or own it. I had it right. You had it right. Okay, own your energy, own your life. So I'm super excited because today she's going to help guide us towards, moving into 2023, which really should be what our December is about. It's not just holidays and Christmas presents and ho, 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 although there's a lot of that. It's also should be like, how are you looking towards this new year coming up? Not that you're not staying in the present moment, but that you're like, what can I do to make my life better? It's kind of like the life affirmation thing that I do at the end of the evening that we've talked about here before, is that sort of evaluation. You kind of want to evaluate the year during this time in December. And it's also a perfect way to not get stuck in the rut of being unhappy that you didn't get invited to a party or, whatever nonsense family stuff might come up. If you can focus on what you need to do for this coming year, I think that's really great. So, Melissa, please explain to us really what you do and this is your expertise. I mean, I've always been so honored that you're a part of this podcast because of your ability to understand energy and how it affects the mind and the brain and all of that. So explain to us what you do, first of all.
First of all, thank you. So, and thank you for that intro. I began studying the concept of energy as it relates to, initially just with Feng Shui. I was interested in design. I was interested in how that worked. But as I, and that was 25 years ago, as I began to study it more deeply, I realized that really the greatest conduits of energy are people and living beings. So if we can understand how to harness and maximize or optimize our own energy, then we are better for everyone around us, and we're certainly better for ourselves. So the concept of energy as it relates to Feng Shui comes from the premise that, well, I've been studying it so long and I've adapted some of it to my own belief system and my own lessons, but the energy that is emanating from the earth at all times affects each one of us. That's why we can go to some locations and have kind of a sad feeling. We can go to other locations and feel a burst of energy and not really understand why at the time. I used to feel like I got a shot in the arm when I would go into certain locations that were new. And I thought, every time I drive into the city, do I feel so vivacious? What is it about the city? Well, it's the energy that's coming up from the earth and how my body responds to it. Now, each one of us have a very unique thumbprint of energy. I call it your energetic DNA. And it really is identified by the year, month, day, and hour that you're born. And the reason that that is an identifier is because when you're born, and it's the time that you're born is written down, there's the stamp of when you became you, when you took that first breath. And when you took that first breath, you absorbed and inhaled that energetic imprint that was coming up from the planet at that time, that day, that month, that year. So that is uniquely you and everyone else that was born at that exact same time. So there's a reason why. Now, I have clients who are twins that are 5 minutes apart, and they're very different from one another. And they'll say to me, well, why are we so different? Our choice in spouses are different. The way we parent is different. The way we relate to those close to us is different. And I explained to them because of the time difference in when they were born. Now, in Feng Shui, what we understand is that the year that you're born is an identifier of sorts. So is the month, day, and hour. But for our conversation today, I would like to talk about the month of December. In the Gregorian calendar, we run January to December. But in the lunar calendar, it's roughly the end of January, 1st of February, to the following January, 1st of February. So January in the lunar calendar is really like our December. So in Feng Shui, we're looking at this month of December like you would in November, and we're still preparing for what's coming of the year 2023, but we're not yet at the end of the year of what we're in right now, Tiger. So next year starts the year of the rabbit. Well, as we're ending up the year of Tiger in 2022, but the November-ish month, which is December, it will affect each one of us differently. And even if our audiences do know what their year energy is, the moniker being rat, ox, tiger, and so forth, I'd like to do a quick run through, if I could, of how it will affect each energy this month of December, from December 7th to January 7th. The vibration that's coming from the earth will affect each of us very differently. And I'd like to share what that means. So if you were born with the understanding that you are the year of the rat, this month for December moves very quickly. It moves in a very fabulous way for you with your relationships and in money, where things seem to click. Everything's moving very fast. This is typical of rat energy, but in particular this month. For those that are born with the month of ox, this month is all about relationships. So whether they're business or personal, all of your relationships need to be focused on. If it's something that brings you joy, maximize it. If it's someone in your life that makes you sad and gloomy, move that energy to the side. It doesn't mean move them out of your life, but it means don't focus and give it a lot of energy, because it will place a dampener on you. And this is all about a time for joyful relationships. If you're born in the year of Tiger, this month will affect your creativity in a very positive way. So if you have a new idea for a business, if you have an idea of how to shift things around in your home life, your relationships, business or personal, get to it, because that creativity juice that you have needs to be honored. If you're born the year of rabbit, this is a highly productive time. I always think of the rabbit when it's in a frenetic time of the rabbit, like in Alice in Wonderland. It's like, I'm late, and it's running. Because next year is the year of the rabbit. Rabbits are known for their diplomacy. They like everybody to feel welcome and invited, and they try to say the right thing. So if that's happening and next year rabbits are hosting the party, then they're running around trying to make sure they've got the linens, the table, everything's set just so. Invitations are out. And so there's a frenetic energy that rabbits will feel. But it's a good energy. It's a good buzz, because everything's coming rapidly for them and they need to get to it. If you're born in the year of dragon, you need to plant seeds. This is a time for you to kind of pull in. You don't need to be as gregarious and out there. You need to kind of pull in and start planting seeds for next year. The year of rabbit, and I'll get to that later, how the year will affect each of our energies. The year of rabbit is not as wonderful and fantastic as a dragon energy might like. So now's the time to plant seeds so that you don't have as much pressure on you next year. Those born in the year of snake really need to also, like the dragon, lay their groundwork for next year. But snakes need to watch their respiratory system this month. So sinuses, esophagus, bronchial issues, any kind of lungs, any kind of thing that could give them an infection, they need to really stay away from it. If it's vaping or smoking or being in an area where there's the dry ice, they need to push away from it because they really are susceptible to infection. Thus, if you're born in the year of horse, this is a time to kind of lay low and not partake in as many festivities. I had someone say to me, but what about the holidays? I didn't say holidays, the festivities, the partying. This is a time to pull back because horses need to watch their health. If you're born in the year of sheep, you have an opportunity to make good money, maybe a year-end bonus, but you need to not talk about it because you will incite envy. If you are born the month of monkey, you're on a roll. Monkeys, even though this is the year of tiger, and I know I'm talking a foreign language in some respect, if you're known as the monkey, the year of tiger runs opposite. If monkeys are vibrating vertically, tigers are coming in horizontally. So there's clashing this year. But now that we're wrapping up the year, monkeys are starting to pick up steam. And this is a time when you'll see them have more opportunities to make money that they really need to take advantage of. 3 more. If you're born the year of rooster, you need to watch your temper. You have good instincts. You have a good ability to understand which decisions to make because you can feel it in your gut. You need to go for it, but you need to not get lost in your emotions and lose your temper this month. So trust your gut, but watch your temper. Those born the month of, or the year of dog, they need to take care of their health. Forget festivities and partying. They just really need to make sure the food choices that they're making, always, right? But the food choices in particular this month, if they think, oh, it's the holidays, I'll partake, it will come back to bite them twice as hard later at the end of the month. And in January, they'll be sicker than they should be because they didn't take care of their health. They really need to pay attention to what they eat this month. And those born in the year of pig, their energy is dwindling. It's kind of a weakening energy, so they cannot overextend themselves. They don't need to say yes to every single invite. They don't need to extend themselves further than what they know they can handle. Now, this is kind of generic, good information for a lot of people, but if I mentioned it, it's because it will in particular affect that energy. Now, what it means when energy affects somebody is that you and I, Mariel, are different energies. You and I could go to a function and be affected by it differently because of our constitution, because of the way our sleep patterns, because of our water absorption, whatever the differences that are kind of tangible that we can, oh yeah, well, I only got 4 hours of sleep, you got 8. I only had 4 glasses of water, you had 10, whatever we can mark off that could explain it away. But even if you and I both walked in with the exact same marks of sleep and hydration and food and exercise, we would still be affected differently because of our make, because of our energetic make. And that's the energy that I work with. And when people can understand and give themselves grace for understanding, well, I'm the month of pig, and they don't have to say, well, Melissa said I can't come to parties this month, but they should say, give themselves enough grace and wiggle room to say, energetically, I don't think that this is going to be the right choice for me, and give themselves permission to make the choice that would be best for them. And that's what I love about this work.
Amazing. I have to just interject a couple of things, because when you mentioned the rabbit energy, I'm not the year of the rabbit, although you are, but I am my partner is year of the rabbit, and I'm watching him. It's so interesting that you say that, because his energy is really like, he is bouncing off the walls. He's doing this, he's doing that. He's like very happy, very, uplifting, energy. And my energy being the year of the ox, I could see that, you were talking about relationship, and I can relate to that. But the one thing that you brought up in the beginning that I just want to clarify is not really, it's a little tiny bit off topic, but it just fascinated me, is that I've never understood why I have gone to places on the planet, like different countries, and gotten off a plane and walked in the city and felt like I could barely move. And this happened to me in Hong Kong twice. So it was like, wait a second, there's something about the energy of this place and me that not, it was bizarre to me. And I got back on a plane and off I went, and I felt fine. I was like, what was that about? I could barely move. I could barely move my body. It was strange.
That's exactly right. I'm not surprised at all, because I don't have at my ready your auspicious directions that I gave you. There are 4 directions that work in your favor, and then there are 4 directions that it feels like they're constantly spilling coffee on your white pants, and it's just like you can't get it right. So it doesn't mean, oh shoot, if my bad direction's east, I can never go visit the family in Shanghai. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you need to be on alert and be forgiving and offer grace to yourself that this is you may have to up your vitamins, and you may need to up your sleep, and you may need to go, if we know we're walking into, listen, let me say it this way. If you don't get along with some family members, whether they are by blood or in-law, and you know you're headed to grandma's house for a holiday dinner, and you know, oh shoot, cousin Betty's going to be there, and she always corners me and gives me grief about something, we arm ourselves with, you give yourself an excuse to get out. You whatever you have to do to protect yourself from that potential toxic energy. It's the same thing when traveling. If you know you're headed into a direction that's not good for you, then, and by the way, my daughter's in Europe, and she was having one mishap after another. Things were just driving her nuts. And she called me and she said, Mom, and she's giving me this list of things. And even though she's having a great time, there were all these mishaps. And I said, by any chance, is the bed where you're sleeping facing north? Is the headboard in the north? And she said, I almost didn't want to tell you. She said, yes, it is. And I said, well, then if you can't, obviously you can't move the bed. It's in a hotel. I said, then angle your body when you're sleeping so that your head isn't facing that direction, babe. You're inviting in. What happens is the energy from that direction does not align with that energetic DNA that you have. So if your energetic DNA is all flowing in a wavy pattern vertically, but this energy is coming at you straight horizontally, you're like, I didn't sleep well last night. I ripped my favorite pair of pants. I can't find my headset. Like things start happening and you won't know why. It's because you're almost being tripped by the energy.
It's fascinating to me. I want to also, before you go on, because I know we have so much to cover, I want people to know that, so Melissa's, I have signed up for Melissa's, she does an energy read every single day for your particular year that, I'm year of the ox. So I get an energy read from her every day. And I just want to make sure that everybody has that they know about that. So please tell them where they can sign up for your energy read. Cause it is, Bobby and I, we swear by it. Bobby, there's certain things he won't do. And he's not that kind of guy. Like he's not a, it's not a like superstitious, but it always works out well. And it doesn't mean that you can't do something on a day that you have low energy. It just means, you finagle it differently. And knowing that you have low energy, it's like, all right, I tackled this day in a different kind of way. So explain how you can sign, how people that are listening to, in our audience can sign up, because again, this always gets back to your mental health. Any way that you can create mental balance through your energies, through lifestyle, and this is part of lifestyle. These are lifestyle choices that you get to choose. So I think they're wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mariel. Yeah. If they go onto the Instagram, on my Instagram, Melissa Yamaguchi, they'll see a Calendly link at the top. They can click onto it and sign up for and they can also DM me or instant message me on Instagram if they have trouble. Some people have had trouble, not too many, but if they do, they can always reach out to me. And what Mariel's speaking about is that every day you wake up, almost like an energetic weather report. The energy is it's vibrating in 4 different vibrations for all of us. It's either high, low, high, or low. Okay, well, what does that mean? It sounds like a bad song. So if it's running high, if it's vibrating high, that means that you are running in sync with the energy that's coming up from the earth that day. So you're probably not going to get a lot of bad things happening to you. And if something did happen that on a different day might affect you negatively, you have the strength and the energy to push through, to rally. So if you got a speeding ticket on a high vibrational day, you may be able to talk your way out of it. It may not. You may think, oh well, okay, and whatever happens. But if it happens to you conversely on a low energetic day, it could be worse, and you may think, oh no, this couldn't have come at a worse time. So it's the way your body reacts to life around you, and the reads come across letting you know the 4 varying levels. The reads come across giving advice. I give some tips on don't partake in any kind of squabbles. Even if you're right, everybody will lose, because some days, if it's a low vibrational day, no matter what you say, it's as though people aren't hearing you. You're saying, that's not what I said. And you're constantly having to explain yourself, and you're thinking, am I losing my mind, or am I not speaking the language that people hear? It's because the vibrational energy is almost muting
Right.
you. It's fascinating, but we are
We
conduits
are.
of energy. And
Go ahead.
like,
I'm sorry. Well, I
no,
want
go ahead.
because this is an interesting topic too, because yes, I am the year of the ox, but I also know that I have a lot of rabbit energy because
Yeah.
you're my best friend. We talk about these things. And so I know that if I have a low day, as an ox, that I may be having a high day in one of my rabbit energies or my pig energy or whatever it is. And how are those explained? Because I know, when people think of astrology, they think of their rising sign, or their sun sign,
right.
their moon sign, their rising sign, whatever. And they all mean different things. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think your energies and the way you read them, it's very similar. Correct?
The similarity is in Feng Shui. There's almost like there's only 4 that I work with. I don't have the ability to have the complexities of the Western astrology, but with the Chinese understanding of energy, the year that you're born describes your social energy. So that's kind of an overarching energetic approach to you and your day. The month you're born is really about how you tackle and approach work. If you're a stay-at-home mom, it's how you run your household. If you work outside of your home, it's you in your office but at home. So it's just how you work. And if you're a student, it's how you are at school. The day describes your core. So that's the true essence of who you are. Our core is our spine. It defines our values. It's how we see ourselves in the world. That yearly energy, that social energy, is how the world sees us. This is why sometimes if you have an opposing energy, if you have like a monkey and a tiger, as I said, if you have a monkey at your core and a tiger at your year, you see yourself as a monkey, the world sees you as a tiger. So sometimes you have to explain yourselves more frequently than the average person will. And you think, you got to understand people, I'm so misunderstood. Truly, because it's so opposing. You don't see yourself as the way the world sometimes sees you. But then and if you were in Asia, you would say, I am a pig. I'm sorry, I am a rabbit born in the year of the ox. So they would know exactly who you were. Okay, well, she truly is a rabbit, but she was born in the year of the ox. That influences her, but at the heart of who she is the rabbit. So that day we're born is that true essence of who we really are. And then the hour you're born really reflects the way you relate to those closest to you. I always say it's the people that are 6 inches from your heart. It's your lover, it's your children, it's your parents, it's your best friend, it's your closest people in your most inner circle. And it's how you relate to them. In Feng Shui, in Asia, a lot of people say it's also how you invest your money. And so it's interesting because it can be utilized in that way, but I use it more for relationships because I'm not as savvy in the stock market. But next year we have coming in the year of the rabbit, and the way that it's been identified is it's going to be a yin water rabbit. And what's interesting, I say it's interesting because for me it's always so fascinating, but this year we've left a yan water tiger, yan being a more aggressive energy. And if we look back in 2021, I was telling my husband, this is what we're going to be able to expect next year. And he said, I'm always tripped out that you can anticipate this. And I said, well, you're looking at the energy that's coming down the pike. And so we can anticipate there's going to be a potential for war. There's going to be a potential for a lot of chest beating with some of the leaders around the world. There's going to be a lot of strife. Now, I may not have it may not take a crystal ball, so to speak, to be able to anticipate some of this. But when you know it's coming energetically, you think, well, how strong are we? If this was the energy that was going to happen anyway, what would it have taken for us to refute that probability? Well, it would have taken, and if, like what you said in the beginning, my tagline, if you own your energy, then you own your life. If we just imagine what an amazing world it would be if we all had this ability to understand our own energy, then we could control ourselves to the best of our ability. If we could optimize ourselves, then we would be better for everybody around us. I think we would offer ourselves and others a lot more grace if we understood our energy as the way it moves. And like I said, bite your tongue. If you're the rooster, watch your temper.
Yeah.
If you knew that, no matter where the rooster lands, if you knew that, then you would think, oh, shoot, I need to watch it. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Maybe some legal trouble if I don't curb my temper. So I need to watch myself. But if you didn't know, you'd walk into the fire. So, I always tell, I've had skeptics in my audience before saying, this is just Myers-Briggs. And I said, well, maybe it's the original because it's about 3,500 years old. So perhaps it's the original Myers-Briggs. But if they're skeptic, I always say, just think of someone like me who teaches energy as your secret person in the helicopter hovering over the 405 while you're racing down it. And I'm saying, get off on Sepulveda.
Yeah.
Avoid the wreck. There's a wreck ahead of you. I'm your Waze, so to speak, giving you a preview of what potentially is coming. But 2023, we walk into Yin Water Rabbit. So what that means, water is an identifier. The element of water is an identifier of visions and thought and really kind of forward progression. It's progression. And then Yin is a more feminine, diplomatic, kinder, more loving energy. It pulls back. We will see some energy, but not nearly as bombastic as we've had in the past. And then Rabbit is known for its diplomacy. It can also be known for its avoidance of issues. So we need to make sure that we're not ghosting a problem and running from it, running down the rabbit hole, so to speak. But each of the energies next year will be affected by the year of the rabbit. And I'd like to go through those real quickly if I could. So Rabbit, obviously, since it's the year of the rabbit's going to have full support. And that's really cool because whether you're someone like me who hates to ask for help or you're someone who's very comfortable getting help, full support is coming. So my advice to anybody who's born with the year of the rabbit or has rabbit in his or her chart is to understand that when the support comes and the offer for help, for assistance comes, take it. Get outside of your
comfort zone. For
me, especially my own, I don't like to ask for help stuff. Just get outside of that and know that help will lead you down greater pastures, greener pastures. Dragons need to keep their cool. The funny thing about dragons is, well, let me back up for just a second, if I may. Each one of these energies is known as either a liberal energy or a conservative energy. And if it's a conservative energy, it kind of holds energy in a little bit. It doesn't necessarily spread it out. It can be forceful, but it may not be as enveloping with everyone around it. Then there's energy on the liberal side that's more come one, come all. Let's all do this together, kind of a group energy, whereas another's more single focused. So for the year of 2020, when it was year of rat, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people had a really rough time, but amongst all of my clientele who were rat, they didn't suffer as greatly as everyone else did. That was a good year for me, Melissa. Financially, I had a great year. Or no one in my family got sick. Or you would hear this happen more frequently with people with rat energy. Then we transfer over to the year of the ox. Ox are known as hard workers. They show up early to work. They stay late to work. They do the work and they may not complain. They may complain later, but during the job, they get the job done. These are nose to the grindstone ox plowing fields. Well, that's what 2021. We came out of 2020, a year of being shut down, and we all had to start hitting it hard and heavy. And so not everyone who could handle that, who had that stamina, not everyone has the stamina of an ox. So not everyone did well in 2021. And now we come to 2022 when it's the year of the tiger. And the tiger is a ferocious strategic energy. And some people did well, But next year will be even better because the rabbit is so gentle and wants everyone to get along. A lot more people will do better next year than what we've had in the past.
That's so great.
Since 2020.
It's great to hear.
So the dragon needs
keep
to
your
keep
cool,
its cool.
Dragon. Keep your cool.
keep your cool. Don't, it's not about you. Just keep your cool and keep your head, and cooler minds prevail. And the snake has a lot of opportunities, a lot of business opportunities, but the snake is a suspicious energy. Doesn't trust people very easily. So instead of looking at somebody with one eye closed, like, I don't know where you're coming from, face them and try to take in the information and look at the opportunity as a potential gift instead of a trick. You're not being tricked. There's an opportunity for you. Those with horse energy, incredible opportunity to make great money. Now, I've had people say, so does that mean I can go to Vegas? No, it just means when opportunity is coming your way, and it seems like I'm being safe by saying opportunity, and I am, because if I spoke the true Feng Shui language, people would start calling me and maybe coming after me for my coffee being too hot or something. I don't need to have any lawsuits on me. But the opportunity to make great money is there for those with horse energy. Again, they have to be proactive. Nothing will fall in anyone's lap. The rabbit does have a lucky foot, and the rabbit does want to share the wealth, but there is an expectation for everybody to go after it. And the horse, once the horse seeks what he or she is looking for and drives to it, like only a horse can, it'll be there in bounties. So the sheep. The sheep is similar to the horse, except the sheep has great success with completion. So once a sheep energy starts a project, they'll be able to finish it. And it's not just, they can half bake it and then the cake is finished. No, they need to stay with it, but they have greater success. They've had, in the past couple of years, people with sheep energy have had a lot of projects fall through and not worked for them, but it won't be that way in 23. People with monkeys, creativity and new ideas if you have a new idea for a business, I'm going to ask you, if you're a monkey, to please get your ducks in a row now in January and put it to use. 2023 will be great for you. Rooster, it's interesting because rooster is the opposite of rabbit. And typically you would think, oh no, it's my enemy's good year, I'm going to be in the doghouse. It's not like that for the rooster. The rooster will have this intuitive ability to make good decisions. And so my advice to rooster is to trust your gut. Trust your gut next year. Dogs are going to need to keep a lower profile than they would probably like to, which is another interesting thing because the dog is the parallel energy to the rabbit, but they need to watch their health. So all of our friends with dog energy, please watch your health. Make your health, it always should be. I know that Mariel can attest to this. This is a mantra of Mariel's and Bobby's, and we've talked about it here on podcast, but please, those of you with dog, make health a number one priority next year. It's vital, especially for you. Those with pig do not need to run the race next year. They need to give themselves permission to take it easy. It is it's a year when their energy dips just a little bit, and that's your work energy, Mariel. And it means that you can work, but you don't need to drive yourself like the ox would. You need to figure out a way to work that allows your body to be whole and not to drain yourself. There have been times when you've been depleted. Like, I'm exhausted from this job I just did. And it's about figuring out what can I do to stay whole. Then those with rat next year, this is the blasted thing about rats. They usually have great years, but next year's a tremendous year for those with rat energy. Good on you. I hope you set the world on fire. Those with ox energy, oh my gosh, you have incredible good luck next year. It's almost like it's just raining on you. And if the ox is lucky enough to pair with a lucky rabbit, it maximizes it to the nth degree. And you have your partner who's a rabbit, and you have your girlfriend who's a rabbit. So you are going to be lifted up like Queen of Sheba next year. Riding in.
Yeah.
Riding in. And then those who are tiger, the trick to tiger success next year, which is plentiful, is just being consistent. Like the sheep, you have to stay on it, and you'll have amazing things coming down the pike. It's going to be a fun year. Yes, there's going to be heartache. It wouldn't be life without it. But if we can keep this carrot dangling, no pun intended with the rabbit, but if we can keep the carrot dangling in front of us and knowing that this is the possibility,
Yeah.
It gives us something to aspire, right? And that's the whole reason people feel purposeful. Is
Absolutely.
they have a reason
Well,
to get out of bed.
this has been so wonderfully enlightening, and I want to do this more. I want you to come. Yeah, I think we should do it monthly.
We should do it
I think
monthly.
it's super interesting for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting for me, and I know a little bit about it, and I know, you know, our audience would, after this, are going to go, oh my gosh, I want to know more, because you want to know your own personal energy, and you want to know how you negotiate that energy.
Yeah.
And you do a great thing. And I think we should do this monthly. You do a great thing where you actually, you know, you talk about the month. Like I mean, I guess we are in a rat month. Is that correct? Yeah. December is a rat month.
We're in the rat month. That's right.
You know, if we can, at the beginning of each month, you know, do an energy read, just so that everybody can get on, you know, like when it comes to mental health. I mean, and again, that's what Outcomes the Sun podcast is about, is any way that you can figure out how to find your best self. I mean, that's key. And energy is, like, frankly, I think energy is everything. And I'm not a woo-woo girl, although I have been in the past. I truly, to everybody who is listening, this is profound and very, very real. It's so tangible when you start to really tune into it. It's an amazing thing. So thank you so much. We went a little over our 30 minutes because there was so much information to cover, but such fascinating information. Thank you so much, Melissa. And everybody, I mean, we've got Christmas coming up. Whoa.
Absolutely.
Whoa. I wonder if that's a good energy day for me. Anyway. Yeah, exactly.
We'll make it so.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll come back next week. We'll do something. And lots of love. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us today on Out Comes the Sun. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube. And you can donate to the Mariel Hemingway Foundation at the marielhemingwayfoundation.org. And I want to spell Hemingway for you, HEMINGWAY.org. I only say that because a lot of people put 2 M's, and that just won't work. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can go to the donate button at the bottom, and it will take you right to a link with the QR code. And if you go to marielhemingway.org, you can also press the donate button and be able to donate to the foundation, which is designed to help guide people towards finding the right solutions for their mental health issues. That is my goal. I'm just trying to raise money so I can come up with an app and a website that has all the information you could possibly want to know about mental health and where to go. But we are in the process of making that happen, and your donation means so much to us. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.